What's going on? It's your boy Nick Moses 05. And before we get into the interview, I just have to give a big shout out to the Atlassia VR team, the entire team. Okay, now this interview is about the artistic team, but Atlassia VR is a battle royale shooter. Please go check it out. Everything will be in the description of this video, but I thank them for their time. It is more to come that I have with them, so stay tuned. But other than that, enjoy the interview.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Nick Moses 05, and I am here with the Atlassia VR artistic team. How are all of you doing today?
We're doing great. I mean, personally, I'm doing great. Thanks for receiving us. It's a pleasure to be with you again, Moses.
Thank you. Now, I see we have a couple other individuals. So what I'll do is I'll have everyone introduce themselves. I guess we could do, gentleman style, ladies first. Okay, we can get the ladies first. So let's start. If you don't mind, introducing yourselves.
You can start, Leah. Thank you. Hi, I'm Leah, or mostly called Lux. I'm the character artist of the team. And yeah, it was pretty much fun to work on these good-looking people.
No, I will say, beautiful artwork. I've definitely looked at the character artwork, and I've seen even first models, improvements, and things like that. So wonderful job. Now,
Thank you.
Is it Eva? I don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, you can say Eva, that's fine. Hi, I'm Eva and I'm the concept artist of the team. And I'm responsible for creating the characters and also next characters. And I also did a little bit of work on concepts for environments. But yeah, my focus is mostly on the characters.
Nice. Great work as well. Like I said, I've seen a lot of the different artwork beforehand, and you guys are moving fast. Okay. So it's great improvements. And is it Karis? Did I get the right?
Yeah, that is okay.
Okay. All right. I'm terrible with names, so I'm trying to nail them. I'm like,
Karis is fine.
Okay. All right. So you can go ahead and introduce. So, what part do you play on the artistic team?
I'm Karis, also called Chris, and I am the environment artist of the team. And I went on board with the team basically shortly after we decided to make a battle royale. And I've been working on the overall map layout, the sculpting of the landscape, and also some of the assets, and also the concept as well.
Nice. And I would say the map very large. I've played. I'm like, whoa, man! I can imagine 40 people in that.
It's the biggest one for VR games, for shooters right now.
So, I don't doubt. And playing and like I've explained, I played a couple of different games, and map was huge. I'm not gonna lie. The more people you get, it'll probably start running into. But we had like 5 people, and it was we were running into each other. But you guys probably play better than I do. But one thing I want to ask, and this is for anyone, can you explain what Atlassia is?
Okay, so Atlassia is the first hero battle royale for VR. It's a game that is heavily inspired by games like Apex Legends or Black Ops 4, I would say, from a movement game shooting mechanics perspective. I would say it's very fast paced, with weapons that have very high rate of fire, and visually it's more inspired from games like Valorant and Overwatch. We really want to try to make very nice graphics that makes you want to play just looking at it. Something that is very missing to current VR games. So we want to come with a stylized type of graphics. So that's for our inspiration. So of course we are not pretending to be as good as those games currently, but this is our goal, and I think that eventually with time we will get closer and closer, and maybe one day just overpass them. um, so yeah, we are trying to build something that is truly unique for VR. Most of games are very generic currently. There is not a lot much risk that are taken. So we're building, for example, our first map, Genesis. It's on an alien planet, and there is a story behind the map that you will be able to discover. Um, Maybe Karis will tell you more about it. And also for the heroes, we are also doing the same. They have their own personalities and stories. Um, so yeah, that's the direction we are taking with the game.
Nice. So, inspirations is something you mentioned. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I know everybody has their own inspirations. Me 9 to 5 IT guy. I thought that was going to be the computer guy my whole life. And, now, I'm diving into, social media and doing this thing. So, for everyone here, I would like to know, what is the inspiration that makes you want to do this, to make, artwork for Atlassia, which, takes quite a bit of time, takes quite a bit of talent to also do. So what are the inspirations and where do they come from?
I would say so. I kind of so the team that is here today. That I first Eva joined us. So what I was like is that I knew that I wanted to build something that is stylized like Valorant, and so I look for people really that were already doing that before, and that I know we're gonna like to do it and gonna enjoy to do it, because that's how you get the best of people. um, so that's so I make my choice, and I mean she can tell her more about it, but yeah, that's how the whole team gathered, and she also bring more people that are interested in the project, and yeah, this is based on a lot of passion, I think, and that's the only way to push VR further, especially that you don't have a crazy budget, we're very very small budget, so it's based on a lot of passion.
Nice. Now, and we can see Eva. I know uh, you mentioned character work, some concept art. Um, how do you come up with concepts? Are they just things that pop in your head? Is there things you look towards for, inspiration with these different concepts related to Atlassia? Where does that come from? Is it just pops in your head, or what is it that brings it to you?
If you would look at my Pinterest, I've got like 12k pins. That explains a lot, I think. And usually I just get inspired by looking at new things and trying to rearrange shapes and stuff to create something new. Because, as mentioned, we are inspired by games like Overwatch, Valorant, and stuff. And usually I just look at those games, look at the characters, what is already there, and what can I do, like something that is new and not just recycled from something else. And yeah, that's what I usually do. I just think about a concept, then I try to look for some references, and usually, mixing it up, clashing something together, or putting generally just a twist into it. Like, oh, that's a tomato, right? Yeah, that's cool. But what if it was purple instead? Thinking like that is really essential when you want to be a concept artist.
Well said. Now, Lux, we're gonna move on. You mentioned those characters. Okay, so I gotta also speak on the characters. Beautiful artwork on the characters. Same question. Where does it come? Is it kind of the same thing? Is there other things that you look for, or does it kind of just bam? I know what I'm doing right from the beginning.
Actually, the first step I always take is just get on a call with Eva and just kind of try to get the whole concept art into 3D and constantly speaking with her makes it easier. So it's one of the important steps for us to work together. And yeah, that's the main step we take. Like, she finished the artwork, the concept art, and I will try my best to make this beautiful concept art into 3D. And actually, I have my workflow for that, and it's mostly the same. Sometimes little things get quite difficult, so I just try to make something else. But mostly I have my same workflow, like making a block out, then going into the high poly step, making the details, and after that it's just polishing and making it compatible with the engine.
Nice. No, well explained. And Lux, you went deep. Okay, I was almost like, whoa, okay, I loved it though. That's what we need. I mean, a lot of these things, people do not understand what it takes to go into making a lot of this, artwork and graphics detail. They just think, oh, you just draw it up and paste it. And then, it is a lot more complicated than that. So love the explanation.
Trust me, I wish it would be that easy.
I can only imagine because I can't do it.
Very complicated. I come from the regular tech industry, so doing software. And when I quit my job to start Atlassia, I was like, okay, it's gonna take a few months, because that's how it is for software development. But a video game is another beast. Like, honestly, like making a Facebook just on the side or a Discord app is easy compared to a video game, honestly.
I don't doubt you.
I'm not sure if I knew. I'm not sure I would have started, but now we are there, and I'm really happy to be there. But it's really an insane amount of work.
I agree. And I've seen many different journeys, and some of them say, "Hey, a 3-month project turns into a year. Year project turns into 3, 5 turns into 10." Believe me, I think every single person has been through that as you go through the process and you're adding more things, you have to change things. Understood. No, totally understand.
Yeah, that's very usual in the video game industry, that you can see almost every game is constantly postponed. So yeah.
Now, Chris, I have to say, environment is huge. Okay? Huge.
Thank
And
you.
How do you come up with concepts for maps so large? Because I would see that as being more difficult. Some people figure, hey, if it's small, I just throw a couple things in there, bam. But as the bigger it gets, you're gonna have to continue, more people in there, different things. Where does that inspiration come from for those concepts on these huge maps? How do you come up with it?
The funny thing is, to me, I usually only see the map in God mode in Unreal, like from above, and to me it looks way smaller than when I see people running around in the map in the playtest. Then I'm just like, oh damn, this map is quite huge. Which is why I usually underestimate how big everything is. But yeah, that is also one of the premises we wanted to set with our map. We wanted it to be awe-inspiring. We want people to use their VR headset to completely immersively walk through there, and everything is big and everything is stunning.
No, well said. I actually seen the map as well from the dropship when I played during the playtest, and I'm looking down, I'm like, oh, it's not that big. So I totally agree. And as I went down and landed, I was behind the mountain, and everyone else is on the other side. So I said, oh, I got to run around. So no, believe me, I totally understand that.
Yeah, it's 1.5. 1.5. square kilometers, so quite big. I think the biggest one is 1 kilometer square from Pop One. So yeah, and our goal is really that you jump on the map and you feel like you traveled to another world. There is still a lot to do, of course, and it's a real challenge making that for Quest. We want it also to run on Quest 1. We don't want to give up on people that only have a Quest 1. It would actually make our life way easier to just support Quest 2. But yeah, we don't want to give up on that, and so it's a huge work of optimization. So that's also something that is slowing us down, but yeah, we'll get there, and the map is gonna evolve a lot in the next coming weeks.
It's also the reason why currently the map is not yet as detailed as we actually want it to be, and which is also why it does look so small from above.
No, well explained. Now, abilities. All these characters, all these abilities. I actually remember putting up a wall, blocking a shot, and it was totally on accident, by the way. I didn't know what I was doing, but perfect timing. You know what I mean? The wall comes up. I see lasers, I see rockets. All the artwork for these abilities. How do you do that? How do you come up with, hey, is there like, oh, someone has this idea, then I create the artwork? Or do you create the artwork, they create the idea? Like, I know that process is a lot more difficult than people think. So, and I'm not sure which one of you could answer this the best, but anyone that could answer the best, what do you feel like with the abilities and other features for these characters? Do you feel like it's easier to kind of draw these things and someone else comes up with concepts on how they work? Or do you usually like to hear the things that, hey, I would love you to make, a big Gatling gun, and you go, I got it?
I can answer this. So the game used to be another game actually. We make some strategic change. So we already had a bunch of abilities developed, and we decided to translate that to heroes. So right now our process will be more about including the abilities in the hero's development, in his personalities and stuff like this. It has been a bit less the case in previous hero, but we find the right fit, I think, so that you cannot see it. Our abilities are choose also mostly we want to do something that feel unique in VR. We really want to take the most out of VR and give you the most fun. I can, yeah. So for example, right now we have a lot of way to move around. Since the map is big, we have Aurora that is a grapple. We have Zephyr that is a jetpack. So yeah, that's the story behind the abilities.
No, that was a nice breakdown. I appreciate it because I know a lot of people wonder that myself. Never being, and I'm one that, by the way, grew up. I want to make a game. So I was a kid that I want to grow up and I want to make a game. And then as I started going to college and I had my first programming class, and I started seeing how certain things worked and agree, 39 years old, a little older. So software has come a long way as well.
Yeah.
One thing though I want to know is with the artwork, especially for the characters, how do you integrate it into the game? Because you draw the character. A lot of people think, hey, I got my drawing. That's it. Here you go. Do you have to, do the drawings continue? Are you drawing them with angry faces and running? And how does it integrate these characters into the game? How does that work?
Well,
Do you mean the 3D characters or 2D?
It's the 3D characters, yes. And I'm glad you clarified that because I'm not too familiar with the terminology. Because at first you draw it, then you have to put it out into the 3D model. So how does that work? There you go.
so from a technical standpoint, it's mostly we have a character that needs a skeleton like any normal human needs to move somehow, and it's called a rig in the art, game art world, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, every one of our heroes gets a rig, and it's actually the same rig for every hero. So we have our animations, and every hero can have specific animations without the change of the rig. So we just rig the character, and after that it goes straight to the engine, and there goes the animation magic.
No, well said. Because hearing it now, it definitely sounds more complicated. But you're right. Everyone just thinks, with the way software is going, hey, I just, buy an asset pack, change a couple things, bam, I got my. So just hearing this is, I can't tell you. Now, one thing I want to ask is, and it's just for my own, sake there. For each of the artists, what is the best piece of work? And I would like for you to describe it. And what is the worst piece of work that you felt like you've ever done?
You mean like in general, or specifically to the projects we have?
Let's say specifically to the project. If you have them all, you might be doing great artwork. You might not have anything bad, but we can stick to the project. If you don't have anything bad for the project, we can stay outside.
Well, that's a great question, and it's kind of complicated.
And
because
explain, I have no idea what makes it what makes it more complicated.
Because it's just not easy to tell you if something is fine or good or not for oneself. Because for me as an artist, I don't know if the other feels like that. Everything can be improved. Everything is at the. I like every artwork I did, every character, every 3D model, but every time I sit right in front of the model, I'm always like, okay, I just want to do this, and this, please, and change it. But sometimes these changes are just your brain says you need to do that, but actually you don't need to do that. But if you want to hear my favorite character I did, it's Gabriel. I think
that's the one you build a wall without knowing it.
Yeah,
it was the only one I picked, but like,
yeah, because I had pretty much fun with all the details, especially at the mask part. And I just like the overall design of him, like this medical parts, even the gloves, like these rubber gloves you use if you are in the medical field. I don't know. I just love the composition of the character. If you want to tell it, say it like that.
No, nice. Eva, let's say same question to you. Not sure if you have anything that was but what would be the worst or best piece that you feel for yourself?
All right, let's start with the best one. I think it's the one we can see in the background. It's the illustrations of the characters I made recently. And I really like it because the art style is just contemporary and very nice to look at. My favorite character is Aurora because, well, I just have a preference for female characters in drawing and, in general. And my worst work at Atlassia is probably when I try to help with environment. I tried to do a little bit of sculpting and modeling, and it just did not work. I just felt so bad. I looked at my little tree that I made, and it just did not look good. And there's also some old artwork, or like old concept art of the characters before I made the new illustrations, and let's say Aurora did not look that good. She had different hair and a different face, but now she looks way better and clean. So yeah, that's my best and worst case.
Well said. And I do understand, kind of like Lux mentioned about the improvement. So, like you said, at first you felt the type of way, but after the changes, beautiful with you. So, Chris, what do you have as best and worst work with Atlassia?
It's funny that Eva mentioned that she helped us out in the environment art. Because she actually did a lot of the concept art there. And personally, I'm not bad at imagining something, at imagining concepts, but I am pretty horrible when it comes to bringing them on paper. I am not that good at concept art, which is why I work with her so closely there. And yeah, that would certainly be a one of the worst parts that I probably have to overcome in the future. Definitely, when I want to continue this kind of environment building, world building, etc. Another very difficult thing is the buildings we chose are very circular in shape, and we also want to make modular environment assets, that you could reuse in theory, but that's pretty damn difficult when you have circular objects, because you can't reuse them just that easily than when you have square or rectangle shaped ones. But I think the what I liked the most about the process was definitely the sculpting of the map, and yeah, also the overall designing process of the environment, of the assets.
Well explained. And no, I asked that question because I feel it all the time when I go back sometimes and I actually look when I started this journey, and I look at the videos, I look at things, and sometimes it's almost cringe, and it was fine at the time, but I got better, and I'm sure many of you, the more you work, and like you mentioned, the more you work with things, the better you get. So it was one of those things I just had to ask because I see it all the time, and I look back and I go, man, I improved on that good. Oh man, now I communicate this very well. And so that was why the question, and you all answered me. But Nate, is there anything for you with this whole entire project where you like, I nailed this, and something you feel like, well, I could have did a little better job?
I'm eternally, like I always want to make things better. So for me, I'm not satisfied about anything. I want to keep pushing everything until we compete with the biggest name. If there are things that I feel not proud, or that were like maybe a shame or something in the past, not really, because a chance we have is that in VR, things are very new. So we are competing against other games that are not very developed, and things, because it's new, things looks very impressive. So you can set your new project in VR and just grab a weapon and shoot with him, and it already looks impressive because it's totally new. So we have that luck that even with something very underdeveloped a year ago, we were already able to attract a lot of people toward the project. But yeah, for the rest is if you're making a video game, you need to be constantly unsatisfied. Yeah, because things are never finished.
I understand. No, the great one. Now, you spoke about the biggest map. Okay. I'm sure after you make the biggest map, okay, I would think many other people come along and they then say, hey, we're going to have the biggest map. We're 1.6, and they try. So with the map, how challenging has it been for this map overall? And do you see any upcoming people who, now that you've set this standard, that everyone's like, nah, we have to set the standard?
Um, it was very challenging. Is first is can we run that map on a quest? That was the first step. It was like, okay, is it possible? So we tried, and we actually kind of do very well. So not only it's going to be the biggest map, but we're going to be able to put more player in it than any other games. So yeah, there was that challenge. Then is also how we can make that with again, we are a small budget. We only have 2 person working on the map. Is how we can make that possible. One of the first things that we made is that, as Caris explained, is that everything is modular. It means that each piece we develop can be reused to make something else. So we develop a set of base pieces, and then we use those base pieces to create a lot of many variation of buildings, for example. So that kind of accelerate the process. We also buy some assets that we don't just include them like this, but we rework them. We make them more optimized for the quest, and we completely retexture them so they fit our environment. So yeah, that's mostly it.
You know what? When I thought about it, I always thought, hey, just make it bigger until you can't. This is like, oh, it's that simple. Just make it bigger until it stops working. But you're right.
So we arrive at a point. What is cool is that we arrive at a point that we can make it bigger. No, we can make it as big as we want. It doesn't matter anymore, because it's now being in a way where some part of the map unloads while you go to another part of the map. So now that we have that functional, the size doesn't matter anymore. But of course, we want to keep something that still feel good. Too big would not serve our goal. It would not feel good. We also have to make sure we have the user base to fill those games. So yeah, we will see. But one of our goals is also to create one of the most advanced modding system. So the technology we have developed around the map, it might be cool for some people to create even bigger stuff, like really big open world for the quest. And that's also why we are making all our building modular assets, because also we want people to reuse to create their own world in Atlassia.
So as for the characters, are we gonna see more characters? I know you're probably, Eva, Lux. I know you're just sitting around drawing all these characters. You probably have tons lined up. Is there anything we're leaning towards next? I mean, anything you may be thinking of? Male, female?
Mystery. A whole mystery. We cannot tell much, but
we can tell a bit more on our next. I think we can give a bit of info on our next character. You can give a bit.
Thank you.
How much is a bit?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Okay, we are gonna try to make. So of course we want to make something. We decide is that first we're not gonna have an unlimited number of characters. We think that it has been kind of toxic for most games to constantly adding characters. I think when there is a right balance, there is a right balance, and you should keep focusing on improving that. So we still don't know about the number, maybe 12, maybe a bit more, but there's going to be a number fix. We're going to try to develop maybe something like one every 2-3 months. That seems feasible for us. And yeah, right now we have a new character that is in the making. It's gonna be a woman, and she's gonna have some abilities related to space-time. It's gonna be very cool, and it has been never seen in VR. Not from what I remember, it has been never seen in VR. So probably you'll hear more in a month or two. We're gonna take our time, make sure we make it as good as possible.
The special abilities of this new character. Something you mentioned was space. A lot of these characters have different special abilities. How hard is it to integrate a character? I mean, even artwork wise, then you got the gameplay, then you might have bugs, and then you might have to have changes on the artwork later. How difficult is that entire process for one character?
So there is two different part here. If we have a problem on the character itself, on the model of the character, then it's gonna be Lux that's gonna take care of it, and we're gonna simply update the model. It's really simple. She do the change, and we can reintegrate it super easily. The abilities part is totally independent. Is based on the code we make. And some abilities are super easy to make. Some are harder than other. Um, if you make if you make a jetpack is something that has been in many video games. It's not that hard to develop. But if you want to make something more creative that never been made, for example, the wall of Gabriel was kind of hard to develop because basically you make a hand movement, and based on the rotation of your hand movement is going to draw the wall in that position. So we need to make sure to at the right moment register the movement of the hand that the player is making, calculate it, and make appear the wall in the same position at the right place. It all depends. Some abilities can look super impressive and they are super easy to do, and some other can be actually very hard to develop. So yeah.
Now, as far as each one of the artists here, if someone was growing up now, my daughter says, I want to make, graphic artwork for games, or I just want to draw something and then make it come to life. What education have you, or classes or courses, or just something you learned on your own for each of the artists there? What is kind of the journey you took to get here?
It's actually quite ironic because we are all went to the same college,
More or less.
university. Yeah, but at different cities.
Okay.
Like Karis and I went to the same, even to the same city, and Eva is from another city. And yeah, we kind of have all the same education, school-wise. By myself, I have.
Do we want to say the cities? Say the names? Or do we want to keep that
Completely up to
secret?
you.
I don't think there is any issue giving name of your school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just of the city. I mean,
No.
Lux and I, we both went to to the university in Cologne, and Eva to the one in Hamburg. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
In Germany, for the one that don't know.
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be good to say.
Great clarification. I think that's
Yeah, we have a team that our whole team is spread across. We not say the world, but we have people in the US and the rest in Europe. So across US and Europe.
We are
You can
very
kinda
spread
say
apart.
around the world. Like, okay, we have
Yeah.
no one from Asia, but
Yeah, not yet.
not
But,
yet.
yeah.
We are across different time zones.
Yeah, and that was, I heard, was a big challenge. The time zone thing. Everyone's in different time zones. So how do you manage that when you have so many people in different times? Is it like, hey, send them a message, or wake up at 3 a.m. and let's talk, or how does that work?
That is still a challenge.
Yeah, I'd say the lucky things is that the artists are in Europe and the devs are in the US. So it kind of makes things more easy. I'm the one that have to spread across both. So yeah, the challenge is mostly find a time that fits everyone agenda. We have around 7-hour difference. But generally, I the way I organize my work is to put it at hours that fits the artist when it's more related to art of the game, and same way for development. But outside of that, we have managed fairly well. It wasn't too hard. I would not say that has been a massive challenge or anything. I'm a big believer in remote work.
Okay. No. And same way now with, especially the pandemic, going through it for so many years, it's kind of become a lifestyle for a lot of people to just kind of, you're connecting through Zoom, restreams, a lot of things. And you kind of have to work together like that. So I actually love that we've learned how to use it now. And now everyone's comfortable with, being from home and work. I think it's a beautiful thing. One thing I want to do is play this clip. And I think everybody should see it. Okay, but I think this is a clip of one Matt specifically and one character. And then I would like for you all to elaborate on the clip. What's your favorite part about it, of the artwork? It's specifically the artwork. You can go into other things if you want, but specifically the artwork. What is something that you see in there that you're proud, that you maybe worked on or anything like that? So I'm going to go ahead and play it. If you have any trouble, just let me know. All right?
I knew this time would come. Go get them, buddy! Ready for fireworks. I'll handle this. Time to meet your maker. Let me fix you up, buddy. There's only one king.
Bingo. Beautiful. That worked perfectly. I loved it. All
Thank
right.
you.
Now, first, whoever did the video, great. Love the music in the background, the different edits, everything. Beautifully done. So we'll start with Eva. Eva, was there anything specifically in that clip that you may have worked on or that you liked? Specifically liked?
Yeah, let's start with a fun fact actually. The character Ivo, is actually based on someone, and the someone is my boyfriend, and he also voices Ivo as well. So I got him to say all the lines and stuff. Yeah, that's the fun fact. And I was very proud when the video came out because we worked a lot on it. Yeah.
Nice. And
From my
I'm
side.
sure, I don't know about some guys, but I would not mind, okay, to be in anything. All right, just put my voice in there, put my face. Oh yeah, more people to see. I love it.
It's just as a concept artist, you have the power to be like, I could put anything into this. What do I do first? So I saw the opportunity, and he looks like he could be in a game. So I said, why not? And it worked out.
No, worked out great. Lux, anything you seen in there that you liked or interested you or something you worked on?
Actually, from the things I didn't done, I like the 4X effects, like the explosion, and the buildings. I really love the design from the beginning, since I saw them the first time. I'm glad we kind of stick with the theme of the buildings somehow. And yeah, I'm kind of proud how Evo turns out, like the finished model, and that he's kind of playable in the video, and it's just a good feeling to see the character you worked on just being played.
Yeah, and also this time you don't watch it play. You become him. So that's the
Yeah.
fun thing about VR. You become the character.
That's true.
Now, Chris, for you, anything that you've seen in there specifically that you loved or that you may have worked on?
So this clip was actually made before I joined the team, and so I did not work on anything in this clip.
Okay.
But I really like it overall. There's no single particular thing that I would say I like most. There's several. Like the music, the flow, also the voice lines. You know how it all flows from one scene into the other. So I don't want to specialize on one particular aspect of the video only.
No, makes sense. So, I guess I have one last question. It's for everyone. What can we expect? Let's say, in theory, this is all hypothetical. What can you see or visualize in the future? Let's say 6 months or a year to now, because you all have been moving very fast. And Nate, I've heard you've been driving a lot of that. So, how do you see the future 6 months from now, even with characters or artwork or gameplay? 6 months from a year to now, where do you see everything?
I think 6 months it's gonna be enough time for us to make Atlassia one of the best VR experience for the Quest. It's gonna be full of tons of exclusive feature. We are moving very fast. If you would have seen 6 months ago, there was nothing. Now there is the game that can be played, and that is even pushing some limits of the Quest. So yeah, one of the best experience, more heroes, more crazy thing to do, like vehicles. Maybe in 6 months now, but a year for sure. A very advanced mode system that can let you build your own experience. That's gonna be almost as good as concurrent game. I think that's mostly a lot of polish, a lot of refinement, making every gun feels great, every abilities, graphically adding effects and sounds to make it compete with. When we are competing, we are not looking about what is making in VR. So of course, everything that is specific to VR, we are trying to do better. But when it comes to visuals, we try to compete with what's on PC or console. That's our goal. That's what we want to try to reach. We don't want to. We don't like the status quo. Most VR experience are embracing now on Quest because of the performance issue. We want to make more effort so we can go further. Because actually the Quest 2 is quite a powerful tool. It's hard to master, but with a lot of work you can definitely build something great.
Nice. So now, before we leave here, I would just like, is there any last words? And we can go down the line. Eva, do you have any last words that you would like to say to everyone before we leave?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for this opportunity that we can speak and talk about a game. That's very nice. And yeah, let's see what we can create for the future.
Now, Lux, anything last words you have to say?
Same as Eva, like, thank you for the opportunity. It was kind of nice to speak about the game, how things are kind of made. And yeah, I just want to say, be ready for what the future might hold.
Mm, nice. And Chris, any last words you have to say to everyone?
I don't really have a lot to add. It was really a pleasure to participate in this interview with you here.
Welcome. And Nate, any last
Just-
words you have to say?
Yeah, a big thanks for receiving us. I hope we can do that again in the future. It's always cool to collaborate with you. And also, I have some keys for you for the game, for the battle pass that's gonna come in the future, so you can
Nice.
enjoy it.
And I've been enjoying it, playing it, and even when you're not doing the play test, I'm in the tutorial area.
It's gonna be better with the battle pass once it's out.
Nice. Thank you. And it was a pleasure. I thank you all for spending the time. We will be doing this again. I definitely could say that. Since I first seen it and speaking with members, all of you have been so nice. I instantly had to drive to PopCon, okay, to see the game. I could have played it on my Quest. I said, no, I want to get an interview. I want to speak with. So I got to see Andrew. So you all have been a pleasure to work with. And I thank you all for your time.
The same.
Thank you too.
Thank you.